let's say I was a bit more focused on materialistic things before, while I really know now that it's not about the materialistic. I mean, I bought myself a nice car and all that, blah, blah, and it didn't make me happier.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the You versus You podcast, where I talk with members of the Council for Human Development about how we can expand our minds and recode reality. Today I'm here with Michael and Fabian. So, Michael, let's start with you. Can you tell us a bit about yourself and what triggered you to join the program?
Hi, good morning, and thanks for welcoming me. And it's great to have us here, Fabian and me, so we can also share our perspectives. So what triggered me? That's a really great question. And by the way, my name is Michael. Yes, I'm a coach, health and fitness coach. I train and coach many different sorts of people who usually have the goal of losing weight, but in the end, they don't really think that is actually all in their mind, while they just think it's about changing nutrition plans and having a training program, while everything goes on in the mind, all the blockages and all the changes. So it's an inside outside approach. And this was one reason why I joined the Council for Human Development. Another reason was Kern triggered me in many ways. He really offered great questions which I could not find an answer to it. And then I thought, I can only learn and expand. And once I learn and expand more and grow in my personal development, I can also share that with my surrounding and especially or specifically with my clients.
And what were the questions that Kern asked you that you had really trouble answering?
Well, I can't really remember the exact question because it's like 5 or 6 months ago already. I just knew he went on, he like built it up, and he was putting me in a hole, a rabbit hole where I didn't find an exit. And I'm thinking, just by giving me the right questions, he made me think. And through this thinking, I thought, okay, I need to have answers to that, or I need to have a different perspective to see where it can go or where I can grow. So it's just about asking the right questions in life that already triggers or makes someone work or think deeper, and also it's like a first step to act subconsciously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Fabian, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and at what life situation you were before you joined the Council for Human Development?
Yeah, of course. I'm really excited to be here. My name is Fabian, and I work as a portfolio manager in a family office. And how I got into contact with CHD is because of David. He brought me into it, and because I trusted him, I was already super interested in what he was doing by growing his consciousness and expanding his knowledge and trying to inspire people. That was always something which resonated with me. Yeah, I really want to become limitless, to be really me, and that I don't have to fit into the society as that's the main reason because why I joined the CHD, to really become me. I'm not just being Fabian, what other people think about me, just being me. Yeah, that's the main reason.
And I'm curious because you say you wanted to become you. So how is that different, let's say, when you compare yourself being a portfolio manager in your normal work and now?
So one thing is just starting to believe in myself, just believing that I'm really able to talk freely without preparation, and don't and that I don't really think about what other people think about me, what I'm saying. Just really being me and letting out my thoughts, my feelings, what I think, and how I see the world. And that changed a lot during the last few months, because in the past I didn't use a lot. I didn't talk a lot what my perception was, or what I was thinking of certain things. And I can also see a change when I'm working right now in the environment that I'm committing, or just that I'm more able to say what I'm thinking without hesitation, just really believing in myself. And in the past, I also always thought about that what I say has to be perfect. And that's one thing I learned in this program as well, that you just do. And the main thing is just progression and progression and progression, and not perfection from the beginning. And that's really relieving when you can really start just talking without thinking and trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm. So, how has that public speaking now changed for you? So, are you really like more extroverted now, and before you were more introverted?
I wouldn't say so, but I'm able to speak. So right now, I didn't prepare anything, and I just let it flow. That's super cool.
And before you would have then anxiety about it?
I would have been super nervous and not feeling really comfortable. And also, what this program teaches you is also taking action and get out of the comfort zone and really starting to create your life as you want it to be. And this is a great opportunity to learn. And one thing is also to make as many mistakes as possible, because out of mistakes you learn a lot. And that's what I'm trying to do.
And can you give us an example of a situation where you were really out of your comfort zone in the last 3 months and what that did to you?
I mean, many situations, like going to the meetup all together. As I said, I didn't feel really comfortable speaking in front of people in a group situation. For example, when we did some meetups in Zurich, and when Kern asks the group a question, and I wouldn't be on, and the group starts talking, answering the questions, and I was always in the past, I was always thinking about what should I say, how should I say it, and not really listening to the answers that people are giving. Yeah, that's in the past I felt really uncomfortable in such situations, and right now I'm really relaxed, and I can just enjoy the moment.
Mm-hmm. And Michael, what are some of the realizations that you had about yourself and your thinking since you started this journey to become more conscious?
I was already before in contact, or let's say I was researching or doing a lot of things all in this regard, also like Tony Robbins stuff, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and etc. But this, because of the coaching and always the reflection that Kern has given me, or the group, the community has given me through the insights of different people, you learn so much. So what I really learned is to really check my language patterns, and that I really have a great impact on my actually actions and then habits. So I'm looking at people much differently than before. Before I was just checking more or less posture, how they behave, and I could just sense it with my empathy. And now I really have the tools that are given to me through the coaching, through the program, like checking the language patterns, how people think, how are their their how do they communicate their values, their belief system. And that says so much. And often people tell me now, like, how do you know that? I mean, I can really start, like Karen used to teach me once, like you start to anticipate what people are going to do just because of what they're saying and how they say it. It's the finesse in the words and the language, that really can contribute so much that you can see a person much more or much better. Yeah.
And what are some of the language patterns that you had that were impacting you in a negative way? And how did you change them?
I was already quite aware before. I had a high awareness. Like when I speak, I really instantly check, why did I say that word? And now it's even more like, of course, I said all the time, and I don't know why I said it. So Kurt said, why are you saying that all the time? It's like, maybe is for me to use as a filler, to not lose or not to make a pause in between. So that means like there's a lack of self-confidence. That's why I maybe put it there, just to not give the sentence a break. And now I'm able to take the break, be more self-confident about it, and go on. That's just an example out of it. And of course, and like I say now again, it's also something I say all over and over. Now you just realize me again. And yeah, it's funny that I see it now, like instantly it's reflecting to me, that like it's mirroring me, and it's like, why do I say that now? So
And you were already aware of those kind of things. You were already into Tony Robbins and personal development. And
yeah,
the really big change for you was still like the group reflection. Can you talk a little bit about that more, how that impacted you and how that looked like?
I think yeah, I said I was quite aware before, but the major transformation really, or put me on another level, was through the community, through the teaching, through the get-togethers. Because through this community, this is such a big thing. You see so many different perspectives from so many different peoples from all over the planet. Seeing their struggles, you learn so much through that. When you're able to, of course, open up, not when you just say, okay, this is like, I don't want to listen. But I use, or let's say, I see all those people inside the community as a big multiplicator factor for me. And also, that drives me higher or elevates. So when I elevate, everyone else elevates in the group. So it's like we're pushing each other up in a really kind and loving way. And that's actually the goal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And in what sense did you personally change now? Also in the areas of your life, like what was the area that you were most struggling with?
That was a great question. I could say I had many triggers before. Half a year ago, I still had tons of triggers. And now almost all those triggers are gone.
What
It's
kind of
like
triggers?
it's like things that make me start boiling, like I see, and when it starts like trigger me in a negative way, I lose control, the emotions go like volcano style. And now I feel it's like, to make a picture, I feel more a bit Buddha, and that's actually also my goal, to be fully enlightened and take it not like easy, but take it with a distance, and to reflect, not to go all emotional in it, you see. And yeah, that was a big transformation in me. And I could also see people telling me this, and I think I already worked a lot of my self-confidence and speaking before, but now I feel super confident. It's because I don't, really care what others say. It's just me. It's all fine. I make mistakes, and my label, as I also learned, mistakes are nothing bad. It's my stake. So I take it as a learning, do as many mistakes as possible, and that's the way to go.
And what kind of behavior really triggered you, or what kind of phrases triggered you when it comes to other people?
I still do and have issues when it's getting too personal. Like I always took things so personal in my past. I was super sensitive about things. When I reflect about my early stages in working environment, it was always, I take everything personal. And now I take it really with a grain of salt and say, look, okay, first thing, it's not about me, it's about the other person. It's just a reflection. So I had to work on my shadows. When something triggers you, it's like the shadow inside. So you have to work on it and dive deeper into that. What is really there that is unresolved? It's a trauma from childhood or whatever. Where is it coming from? And often people just divert it and say, okay, I don't want to dive into this because the abyss in the hero's journey might be a deep fall, and people don't usually want to fall because they want to stay solid and superficial. It's like, safe place here, I'm not going deeper here. Yeah. And I
So,
really love diving deeper now.
so you used to take things very personal. So, according to feedback, right? So when you have a training session, for example, with
Yes.
someone and this person gives you bad feedback. So how do
Yeah.
you act in that situation now?
Very neutral. Like I really try to emphasize with the person, put myself into the other perspective and really try to understand, and not just try to really ask the right questions in a neutral way, a neutral, kind and loving way. Is there maybe things I didn't do right, I could do better? So it's all about progressing, like Fabian said before, in any areas of life. Might it be relationship, business, friendship, community, outside of your house, wherever you are.
And Fabian, what are some of the big breakthroughs that you had that really impacted your life besides speaking out, like you already mentioned before?
Getting out of my comfort zone, I would say, and really being the driver of your life. I was mostly passive, and with this program and with the one-on-ones with Kern, I really started to see that you have choice. We humans, we have choice whether we want to be progressive or not, or whether we want to be creative or not, or destructive. And also not just thinking about it, rather than taking actions as well. And that's one thing I learned, and that was a great breakthrough for myself. And yeah, I got out of a relationship which was not really making me happy. And I think without this community and this program, I haven't been able to do it because it was so comfortable and a safe environment, and that's where most of the people want to stay and not discover what there is more. And yeah, just really taking actions in your life. That's a big breakthrough I realized during the last few months.
The relationship you mentioned. So, what was a trigger now that you really managed to get out of it? And what was especially missing that you realized through the group?
How I got out of it is just realizing how limiting it was. It is super difficult to stay in a relationship when you want to unleash all the limitations, and just it's just like tries to pull you back. And that's where you are in a hero's journey, when you go into your journey of your consciousness, through expanding your consciousness, and the safe environment is trying to pull you back, or your shell. And without this program, I wouldn't be aware of that.
And
And
you, all right. So you mentioned that you were rather a passenger in your life than really the driver. Can you give us a little bit more insight about how that impacted your life? Like starting, for example, with your job, why you chose that job, and all of these aspects in your life?
okay, of course. So how I got into banking is because my dad was a banker as well. And when I was 16, during the holidays, I was able to go to his office and work as a just during the holidays, and I got into that like that, and then I kept doing it for many years, and I went to the university, and I wasn't really thinking about what I really wanted to do, but because everyone else was doing economics, I just chose it as well. And yeah, I just went with my life how it got constructed by others or by other circumstances and not on my terms. And that was a really passive way of living. And when you realize that you have a choice, that you really can choose what you ever want to do, and that you can do it, that you just have to take action and just starting to do it, then you can start being really you. And by joining a CHD, I'm really looking forward to inspire other people to do what they really want to do, and enlighten them, and share my wisdom, share my perspective. Yeah, spread the light, spread the wisdom, and inspire as many people as possible.
And Michael, when you look back a couple months ago, what was the main factor that was causing unhappiness in your life in the past?
You mean before the program or in general?
Before the program, and also how that changed now.
Well, I wouldn't say I was not happy. I was quite happy with my life now, but I just know or focus more on, let's say, I was a bit more focused on materialistic things before, while I really know now that it's not about the materialistic. I mean, I bought myself a nice car and all that, blah, blah, and it didn't make me happier. And now I really know what makes me happy. It's all the internal factors. It's all the relationships and how I want to depth in those relationships and focusing on the here and now, because this is one of my biggest issues I still have, focusing on the here and now. And I say this is one of my biggest toxic things I have. And I'm still highly addicted to it, but this is taking my focus oftentimes away. And yesterday I really took an oath on it that I will really work on that. And yeah, I think I wouldn't have gotten that far without being more conscious about, and this is a large contribution from the CHD program and the coaching.
And how did your relationship personally transform and deepen?
It is still in the process of really deepening, and I know now it's a lot on me. Of course, it's always like a reflection, and everyone has his challenges and issues and traumas. But if I want this relationship to really go to the next level, I know it's on me, and I will not put the blame on the other person or my partner to do that step or that extra effort. Also here, I will go the extra mile. I'm going to do it, and I know I can do it, and that will be the best I can do to contribute to a fulfilling relationship. Whatever happens then, you don't know, but you know that you did your really best and you stepped outside of your bubble, and not always seeing. I also had these issues in the past a bit more. I still have it. I still have these triggers a bit with the ego that is being touched, or what I did wrong now. Is it always me that is, the victim here? And yeah, so we really step up here and evolve on my limitations.
Can you give us an example where you really went the extra mile in a relationship recently, and how you would handle that in the past?
In this current relationship, I have to be honest, there's still room for improvement to go for the extra mile, because I was really in the past focusing too much on my business, on my self, rather than on the us. Let's say from the I focus that's always being told about to the we focus, is the same goes for the relationship. to focus more on the we instead of what's in it for me. What do you give me instead of what can I contribute? And this is something that I will do now much more intensively. This is a promise to the public world.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Would you still like to add something, Fabian?
Yeah, the shift in from the I focus to the us mentality is something really powerful. When you have options and you can check whether it's progressive or not, and not just thinking about yourself, but about the community, about the society, and that's where you really start expanding and evolving, and that's a very important topic to look at.
Totally. If you want to find out more, make sure to check out councilforhumandevelopment.org, and please share the podcast with your friends on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter with the hashtag Council for Human Development.
Let's say I was a bit more focused on materialistic things before, while I really know now that it's not about the materialistic. I mean, I bought myself a nice car and all that, blah, blah, and it didn't make me happier.